Welcome back, welcome back. If this is your first time finding my channel, the name of my channel is in the intro. Who am I? I'm Unc Al. You call me Unc for short. Why? Because I'm old as hell and I'm somebody's uncle. And I'm that uncle that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Rest in peace, Pops, as usual. With that said, what's the name of this video? You saw the title. Fellas, be careful who you knock up. It can absolutely destroy your lives. Today I'm reacting to a video from a guy named MTR. That stands for Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. I cannot say that word. Tutorials and Reviews. Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Great content creator, been at it for a while. I really dig his content and his material. The second is from a fellow by the name of Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. He has a channel called The Onyx Report. I'm gonna link both these videos in the description so you can go over there and check them out. Go ahead, give them a like, give them a sub if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed to them, you definitely are slipping and you definitely need to check out their content. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is a professor of Black Studies. I want to say at UC Berkeley, but I might be mistaken. I know it's a university in California. I can't remember which particular one. There's no need for me to continue jawing and running my mouth. Let's let the content speak for itself. Let's get into it.
There is nothing that I cannot stand more than when women are given the power of the family court system to exact revenge on their child's father. The case that I have for you guys today does not have a resolution, but I wanted to bring you guys down the roller coaster ride of a particular story of a member of the MT Army that sent me some content, some footage, as well as an explainer to what he's currently going through with his baby's mother. But let's read his message. Wanted to give you some insight to my situation since you're an advocate of men. I had a kid with this woman and she's been hell ever since. My guess is that there were red flags way before you had a kid with her, but we'll leave that as it is. Hasn't allowed me to see my son in the past 2 years. Been in court, finally got paternity situated, and now working on getting her served for custody visitation. What's also interesting about this is that while he was fighting for custody and for visitation, custodial rights, at the same time, in the same location, I was going back and forth from the hospital. As my father, who was a single father to me growing up, was fighting for his life from cancer. He didn't know that at the time, and in fact, it's not anything that I shared with anybody. But the bond that I had with my father was initiated at the age of his son right now, so he's missing out on that time. Last time I went to serve her this past Monday, she turned around and filed a temporary restraining order, lying about everything that happened. Luckily, I recorded and have video, but here's the videos if you want to use it for content. So let's watch right now.
You already know what it is. Stop playing. I'm not doing it. How you doing, baby? I love you, son. How you doing, son? It's your dad. It's your dad.
You're a loser.
Because y'all are recording. You're keeping my son from me. It's been 2 years. Here you go. You've been served.
You can't serve.
You've been served, honey. You've been served, honey. You've been served, honey. Good luck. Keep it up. You already know what it is. Stop playing. I'm not doing it. How you doing, baby? I love you, son. How you doing, son? It's your dad.
So for obvious reasons, I'm hiding the little kid's face. But the worst part about this video is that the child looks back at his father, and the math makes sense. The child's like 2 or 4 years old. So after 2 years of not being able to see his child, of course, that's going to be the look on his face. And I know what a major part of my audience is saying right now is that how is he or why is he serving her? He actually explains this in a follow-up video.
So what I just posted is the evidence from a video that I just recorded. I was out in the city somewhere trying to locate my baby mother. Haven't seen my son in 2 years, trying to serve her some paperwork, right? Stumble across her. I hop out. Obviously, if you know anything about the court system, the person that is filing the paperwork, you can't serve the person. So at the end of the day, whatever I did, I served her today. It's not going to count, and I'm going to have to do it again the right way. But when everything happened as quickly as it did, I figured it's my one chance to see my son. I haven't seen him in 2 years. You guys see the pictures. I have a video. I don't know if I want to post it, but this is the shit I'm dealing with. This type of shit.
One of the best things this cat is doing, besides fighting for his son, mad respect for that, is recording. ABR, fellas, always be recording. Always have a record of your interactions so there is no way they can come with hearsay or fictitious eyewitness evidence saying that you did this or you did that.
He ain't lying.
Always be recording. I'm telling you. And it's also good for later on down the line, where if, say, this guy can't get in his son's life and his son has some type of feelings and comes and finds him when he's able to and accuses him of all these things that his toxic mother has put in his head, he can break out recordings and say, son, I fought in court. I found you when I could. I tried to serve a paperwork. I tried to come see you. I tried to set up visitation. Every step of the way, your mother stopped me. Always be recording, fellas. Always document everything that happens to you in between you and an acrimonious co-parent. Always be recording. ABR. Let's continue.
And just a few more things. So she was with a friend, which you can see in the video, and this friend is extremely complicit in everything she's doing.
That's what
right?
happens.
Not even knowing the situation between us, right? But she's an accomplice, helping whisk my son into the car and then drive off. And then they call me from a private number, say that they're going to file a police report because what'd she say? I'm stalking her or harassing her, I think is the words they use. I don't care. At this point, when you get to a certain point, it's like, do what you want, right? Because at this point, I've suffered what I can suffer. It doesn't get any worse than this. But it's shit like this that we got to deal with. And I'm not the only person or the only man that's dealing with this. I know a lot of people who's been in this situation, who are currently dealing with this situation. It is a nasty epidemic where the mothers of people's child, because the person no longer wants to be with that individual, they lash out in the only way that they have any power,
the courts,
which is to keep you from your child.
Is that this is what happens when you squirt into evil. But for all of the dudes, I'm reiterating, this is what happens when you squirt into bitter.
MTR is 100% right with his last point he made. This is what happens when you squirt into evil. This is what happens when you squirt into bitter. This is what happens when you squirt into damaged. The moral of the story, guard your seed. But it don't be about here handing it out to chicks that's fertile grounds for chaos. No. Guard your seed. Because once they got that baby, they got you. They have a whole system that they can array against you. A whole system that's designed to extract wealth from you, and if you don't have that wealth, they'll lock you up so they can get the slave labor out of you, because slavery is still legal in the United States under the 13th Amendment. Look it up.
You going to jail.
Always protect yourselves, fellas. Guard your seed. Don't be out here shooting the club up, because it'll cost you way more than it's worth. Way more than it's worth. Be careful out here, fellas. Let's continue.
Of course, within this textbook play, what is going to come next? The allegations of being an abusive man.
Update, because after what happened on Monday, you know, the Chronicles, if you've been following, my baby mother did what bitter baby moms do, or especially the ones that are like her in her situation, right? She went down and got a temporary order of protection, and here's what it says. On May 20th, at the place of her employment, came to her place unannounced, was very aggressive in using profanity. I did not use any profanity, and I was not aggressive. Anyway, chased me and my son around. After we ran away, we were very fearful of him. My son suffered a scrape on his elbow. She was holding his elbow before I got there. He had fell and cut his elbow on the bike. Like, what are you talking about? What a clown. She put this in a report. I'm chronicling all of this, guys. You're gonna get all this work. Hold on. It continues. The respondent harassed, stalked, and threatened me, dating back several years and continues to date. I'm concerned for my safety and the safety of my son, who was also afraid of the respondent's most recent behavior, which causes both fear for our safety. That's a lie. He said, Daddy! That doesn't sound like a that's feared for his life. It sounds like a that wants to see his dad. What are you talking about? All right, hold on. While the respondent was chasing us Chasing. Okay. While he was chasing us, he threw papers at me. It is my belief he was attempting to serve me, but was unsuccessful. Paternity has never been legally established for my son. Actually, honey, it has been legally established. You know how you don't know? Because you didn't show up to any court date. It has been legally established. She's gonna see this because her mom, her sister, and all the other goons that she has they'll send them to the chat or to the feed, and they're gonna look at it. So watch this. Look at it. I'll see you in court though, honey. Because if you don't show up, guess what? This is gonna be thrown out, and then we're back to square one. Like, what are we doing?
And that illustrates why you should always record. Look at what she done said. Look at what she did. You saw the video. You saw the video. Now you can say, well, it's not the whole video and it's just a snippet of the video, whatever. I didn't hear him yelling. I didn't hear him cussing. All I saw was him try to serve her some paperwork. She said he was chasing her around. All he did was get close enough to her to give her the paperwork and then walked away. Said something to his son, walked away. Do you hear the story she spun? Do you hear that? Oh my God! This is why you always be recording. Pardon me, sorry. This is why you always be recording. Because, I mean, you know, it used to be that we had no weapons. It used to be women could say this and that, and you have no idea the number of men in general, but black men in particular, that has had the whole system arrayed against us because some bitter woman called and made up stories and just ruined our lives. Them days are over. Fellas, you got that smartphone, always be recording, always document any interaction, always, always, always. I wish this young fella luck. That was the extent of the clip I had there. I wish that fella luck, and I hope MTR keeps us posted on what's going on with him, because I really hope he wins and gets custody of his son. Because that little boy definitely does not need to be raised in that household with that chick. Because if she feels this way about the father, how's she gonna start feeling when that boy starts looking like his father and acting like his father? Good God. I hope that man gets custody of his son. I'm wishing him luck. Let's continue.
Tonight we are, this is, how do I put it? We on automatic in terms of, the rifling, the weaponry we're using tonight. We're just going all out. And what we're going to do is cover and debunk a number of different myths about black men. And I wanted to get BGS up in here with me to do it because it's a lot more fun, for one, to bounce off good brother when we're talking about it. But there's a lot of info to cover. So I wanted to kind of get that in. So let me start. Anyway, so if you can see the kind of the study as it's broken down here, this is a breakdown of Latino, white, and black men. The orange line is black men, and it breaks down the percentage, according to the National Center for Health Statistics, of which fathers, right, spend the most time and are most involved with their children, right? Mm-hmm. So we can see the breakdown here for children under 5 and children ages 5 to 18. Overwhelmingly, in each category, I should say most consistently, you tend to see that black men remain in the highest categories. Now, you've broken this down. I think you've done videos to this, right?
Yes.
What's the most pushback you tend to get when you post this kind of information?
Really, it's less pushback. Is more about surprise.
Okay.
Because you've heard about it, but the thing is, we always get the things that we're actually the worst dads or the most abandoned, right? But thing is, it's actually the opposite. So you tend to hear more surprise that I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then they actually go and wave it in black women's faces too. So you get that. So
well, shout out.
I hear pushback mostly comes from the women that they don't believe it. Yeah.
You know why they don't believe it? Excuse me. You know why they don't believe it? Because according to blackdemographics.com, the 2020 census, and the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, if you do a tabulation of all the numbers that they present on this issue, you'll see that roughly 70% of black children are born to single mother households. 70%, right? But when you look at the number of fathers, check this out. Somewhere between 51 and 54%. There's a variance between these statistical analyses, these demographic studies. It's a variance, but one says 51, one says 54. That's why I'm giving you a range. So somewhere between 51 and 54% of black men don't have children at all. None. So and 50% plus one is a majority. So the majority of black men do not have kids. They don't have children. Furthermore, 31 to 33% of black men are married. And those guys are having children within their marriage. So you have somewhere around 80 to 84%, maybe 85% of black men that either A, have no children, or B, married and having children within the confines of their marriage, right? So what does that mean? If 80 to 85% of men either have no children or they're married and having children within the marriage, who's fathering all these kids? Well, if you subtract 85 from 100, which is, the numbers I gave you about the fatherhood, and you subtract that number from 100 and you get right around 15%. Now, the problem with this number is you got 15% of men, black men, only 15 out of 100 that are fathering the 70% of out of wedlock single mother households. The problem with this number is there hasn't been a definitive study to actually nail down the number. That number could be as low as 15%. It could be as high as 23 to 25%. But here's the thing. We know for a fact that 51 to 54% don't have kids. 31 to 33% are married. So that leaves a small proportion of men that are out here being irresponsible with their seeds. The preponderance is on the women. 70% of single mother households are fathered by this small cadre of men. So how is it on the rest of us? How is it on the rest of us that did the right thing? I was married when my son was born. How is it on the rest of us? Interesting. Let's continue.
This motherfucker don't miss.
Shout out to Geechee, man. That moves me to hear that. I hope you're doing much better, bro. What I've gotten, it has been from black women, and one of the things that I've heard, especially right after it came out, most was, well, I don't agree with the studies because that's not what me and my girls talk about.
Right.
You know, and I'll just be like, okay, so it's you and your girls versus the National Center for Health Statistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which normally they're lying. So.
Right here, I respectfully disagree with BGS, the master teacher. Not because I think he's wrong, but I think it's simple. I just have another theory about it. I could be completely wrong on what I'm saying. He could be right. But here's the thing. Single mothers, they tend to, not all, but they tend to get benefits like Section 8. Well, Section 8, for the most part, there's only certain landlords that take Section 8, and those houses and properties tend to be centered in the same area, right? So what does that mean? You'll have a preponderance of single mothers living in the same area. And, we've already established that 70% of these young ladies are having babies by the same guys. So from their perspective, all their baby daddies got other baby mamas. So you're surrounded by a bunch of women that you're a woman, you're a single mom, and you're surrounded by a bunch of other single moms that have a bunch of kids, and their baby daddies have a bunch of kids. Why? Because Section 8 only is only in certain areas. There's a higher concentration of single moms. We've already established that single moms are sharing baby daddies. So when you get them together and they start telling stories, this chick's baby daddy's got 3 baby mamas, this one's got 5, this other chick's baby daddy's got 7. So it's sort of I think it'd be called confirmation bias. It's anecdotal. You know, it's anecdotal evidence. You know, if I lived in a place where where there was nothing but skunks every time I walked outside, I would think that the whole world stinks. until I came out of that area. You feel what I'm saying? Until I removed myself from around that area. And that's a rough and a stupid analogy, but you get where I'm going. These chicks don't believe it because everyone they're surrounded with their baby daddies have multiple kids. Hell, they have multiple baby daddies. It's a whole polygamous type situation they got going on in that so-called black community. But yes, that's respectfully, that's where I disagree. That's why I think women actually believe this, because baby mamas tend to stay around baby mamas, and baby mamas in the black community tend to have multiple baby daddies, and their baby daddies tend to have multiple baby mamas. So if that's all they see, I'm sure that's all they believe. Let's continue.
That boy is good.
Well, yeah.
When they say me and my girls, okay, but they don't include the girls that they're rowdy friends or their raunchy friends. They exclude them. They'll cut them out.
Yeah.
Well, my sister, my cousins, and my auntie, they all do that. But my circle of friends don't do that.
Yeah. See, Dead Set says much of the pushback I've heard on the issue is that they say it was all self-reported and that the men are lying.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about studies like this is that when you're covering a large population of men, you know, to have a coordinated effort amongst so many is really not realistic. But, you know, of course, you know, whatever they can do to kind of shame it, they're going to do. But, you know, I just wanted to put this up because, you know, we get a lot of new people in, we get people that have heard bits and pieces. And so we don't all, you know, always have the same information. So I wanted to do a show where we could really just kind of break down some of the things some of us know, share some information. If we got some new information, you know, do that as well. Shout out.
And with those final words from Dr. T. Hasan Johnson, I'm going to bring this video to a close. You know, I had to throw Dr. Johnson in there because black men always get a bad rap, you know, for not being good fathers. He used a survey from the National Center for Health Statistics, but the CDC has also done a study that pretty much said the same thing. So I had to throw that in there to counterpoint the video that MTR made, because, you know, we get a bad rap. They say we're not good fathers, yet we're out here fighting for our sons. And when we're in our kids' lives, we're the most participatory fathers in this country. When we get a chance to be fathers, we are the most participatory group of fathers in this country. Now, we can't count that small group of 20 to 25% that are irresponsible miscreants and shooting up clubs left and right and got anywhere from 5 to 33 baby mamas. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the black men that either have no kids or the black men that are married and have kids within marriage. And there's a group of in that number that are responsible fathers, that the non-married number of black men. There's plenty of black men that have great co-parenting arrangements with the mothers of their children, but they don't get any props. They don't get any recognition. And that's why channels like mine exist, and that's why channels like MTR and Dr. T. Hasan Johnson and BGS Ibmore and Medium Man and Jeremy Hill. There's a score of channels that's out here putting out the truth. So one way or another, the truth is going to get out. The time of besmirching the name and the honor of black men is over. We have a voice now, and we're done letting other people spin a narrative about our reputations, especially when the data's out there proving them wrong. With that said, we've come to the conclusion of part 1 in a 2-part series. Please come back for the next part. I'll be uploading it soon. Please give me a like, give me a share, and give me a sub. And I thank you for stopping through. Doodles!